Mr. Stock.
There we go.
Welcome in to the Bogey Bro Banter, Bogey Bros Banter, if you will. Apostrophe S. Some people forget. Like this.
I don't ever use the apostrophe.
Here's the thing. People claim that the Bogey Bros Banter shouldn't have an apostrophe. But I ask you this, and they said that the evidence was, I once called it the banter of Bogey Bros. Wouldn't you think that that would be, like,
I'm not going to
possessive?
pretend. I'm not going to pretend to know.
Like
the
the
answer.
bros own the banter?
The way you have to think about it is
It's
it
like the main
a
question
verb?
is-
Is banter a verb in this
The
situation?
main
or
question
is
does the apostrophe go before or after the S? And the only reason I put it before the S is it looks aesthetically better.
after the S would be bro. Oh no, we had this.
What
conversation.
happened to the?
Because like bros and then apostrophe after the S would be probably technically correct. Because like we are the bros and we're having
What
the
happened
banter.
to our timestamp on the thing? We don't have our timestamp anymore.
Yeah, we can't see how long we've been going.
That's trouble, Konner. I'm just warning you.
And
All right.
you go bro.
We're gonna go long.
Apostrophe S.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
And then it's like one of our banter. Anyways, hey fellas, this episode of Bogey Bro Banter is brought to you by our friends over at the producer, the best ball trimmers on the market, Manscaped. The global leaders in below the waist grooming are leaving 2022 with brand new products, the Preserve Cologne and Preserve Body Wash. 2023 is the year to up your hygiene game and smell amazing, and Manscaped wants to help you do so with this special offer. You can use the code BANTER20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Take a leap into the new year and join the 7 million men who already trust Manscaped. When we started, wasn't that like 2? When we started doing
I
these
think
reads?
it was 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3
Can
men.
we attribute all 5 to...
I'd say at least like half.
Something to think about. The Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 is the leader of the Performance Package 4.0, or as I call it, the perfect package for my freaking package. Manscaped engineered this ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredible, comfortable grooming experience. This new year, shave the loose pines off your wood, if you will, with the best tool for the job. The signature Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped is here to take down everything in its path.
Oh, yeah.
Have trouble dealing with wild weeds in your nose and ear hair? Well, the weeds are your hair.
My near hair?
We're going to start that one over. Having trouble dealing with the wild weeds in your nose and ears, Manscaped has you covered with the Weed Whacker. It'll change the game for which you whack your worst weeds. I think confidence is going to be king in 2023, and you know what else I'm confident about?
What?
Smelling like $1 million on the track. You asked and Manscaped answered, introducing the brand new Manscaped Preserve Body Wash and Preserve Cologne.
Dang.
Talk about being clean, feeling, and smelling good. The Preserve Body Wash from Manscaped solved all 3 for the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine. But in the shower, it has a light woodsy scent and is infused with aloe vera and sea salt to help your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. So
like
remember,
crap like that.
get 20% off and free shipping with the code BANTER20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code BANTER20. Happy New Year's to your balls.
May the balls be with you.
That's like Merry Christmas to the ground. What is it? Throw it on the ground.
Happy birthday to the
Yeah.
ground.
I like Merry Christmas because, like, you know, it's in a few days.
That's funny,
Is
dude.
it?
Merry Christmas, and by Merry Christmas, I mean Christmas is very close to time here.
Mm-hmm. We're actually doing Christmas with Lizzie's mom tonight.
Oh, that's fun.
You getting your first Christmas dose.
We did Christmas with Gabby's dad, with Gabby's family on Thanksgiving. So that was fun. What are you looking at?
Oh, it's because Trevor hasn't talked. Never mind.
Yeah, see
Okay.
Trevor talk.
Trevor, talk. I need to see it.
Talk.
All right, yeah, he's coming through.
We had to redo this whole the whole GarageBand thing because I had to clear space off my computer and I accidentally deleted our.
You didn't
GarageBand.
accidentally.
He
I
deleted
did.
all
You
of
said
it.
deleted it. I
You said
deleted it.
this thing's 20 gigs, and I said you don't need that. Delete that crap.
And then I did.
And then you did.
I listened to him.
Was it worth 20 gigs though? I think so.
Oh yeah, my computer works.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hunter,
I got kind of screwed
Here we go.
Okay.
at the Christmas party we're going
Everybody's
to
just
tonight.
diving in right now.
Oh, yeah?
Because I wasn't aware of this until this morning. Because what I was aware of is Liz's mom texted and asked what Luca wanted for Christmas, my son. Liz sent her some stuff, and then she said, I need more stuff. So she sent her some more stuff. She said, I need more stuff. Send her some more stuff. And so we don't know what all Luca's getting off what Liz sent, but Liz sent a considerable amount of stuff to her mom for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe she just like kept not wanting to get whatever was
What
being
I
sent.
wasn't aware is the same situation happened for me.
Oh,
Liz asked me what I wanted from her mom, and I said, like, I told her like a hat or something, like something, you know, $20-$30 cheap for like my entire Christmas from her mom. What I wasn't aware is Liz sent that, and then apparently her mom did the same thing of like, oh, well, that's not enough. I need some more stuff. And Liz never responded.
dang, dude, that sucks.
So like, I don't exactly know because
What
like
in
You
the
need to call.
world,
I
bro?
was
I'm
at-
going to call Liz right
yeah,
now.
I was
intervention?
at Lizzie's dad's house with her brother and sister the other day, and Lizzie's sister was like sending stuff for her boyfriend over to her mom to be bought.
Dang.
And she like kept listing stuff. She's like, I'm sending them this. I'm like, geez, like you just having her pick off the list. She's like, no, she told me the budget and I just like sent all of it. I was like, man, like I only sent her a hat. And like everyone like laughed about it. And then I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, man, like Katie must be like really going off for Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it's because Lizzie just ignored her mom on the text.
That sucks.
And I was like, well, did you send her stuff for you? She's like, yeah, I sent her stuff for me and for Luca. I was like, so you just ignored me. Like I'm gonna show up, everyone's gonna be like ripping open gifts, and then I'm just gonna get a hat and be like, yes.
Dang, dude, you got screwed.
I got screwed.
That is wrong.
You should ask for a PS5.
I would have if I would have known.
That is injustice.
Yeah,
and I will not stand for it.
So I'm very curious. I'm imagining what will end up happening is I'll probably get like a Dick's Sporting Goods gift card or something, which is great.
That's
perfect.
fine.
That is great.
But we'll see what happens. We'll see.
There are a few things that get me as excited as a Dick's Sporting Goods gift card. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's for like $20.
Yes, it's got to be at least
then you
$50. I feel like
$20. I'm like, okay, well, I still have to pay $35 for those shorts.
Yeah, if it's at least $50, then I'm
$50. I'm like, I can get in there and find something.
Right.
I can get my elbows dirty, push people around, find something.
Yeah.
Get my elbows dirty.
What's so funny about that?
Just a funny phrase.
All right, I remember that.
Yeah, we'll note that.
Noted.
Consider it noted.
Dude,
Noted.
don't touch my elbows, man. You know I gotta think about that. Don't touch my elbows.
All right.
Noted.
Hunter, you on a little truck date? Well, that's how I say update, but it's always about my truck.
Date?
Oh my
That's
gosh,
funny.
dude.
Hey, Trevor, you're doing that thing where you think it's funny to
No.
care.
I was saying like it's a sad story. I wasn't saying.
Okay, man. Thank you. Man.
I wasn't bullying.
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry for assuming.
I don't know what you're doing.
Me and my wife, we always
What
get
are you doing?
in fights because we're talking about
I'm
how we
making it where
assume
you
things
can't
about
see your
each
shirt
other.
under
and
your.
That's not good. Can't assume things.
Thank you.
I accidentally just opened up way more than I should have.
What did
Truck
you,
date.
Anyway,
What
my
did you
truck
assume?
date.
You not pass the state inspection?
So did not pass the state
You passed
inspection.
with flying colors.
And just to fill everybody in,
Colors.
I am trying desperately to get my truck to pass inspection so that I can get the title because it doesn't have a title right now, and to get it registered before today is Wednesday, before Saturday.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. But it's going to happen.
doable. Yeah, it's doable.
It's going to happen. And
doable.
Do you have an appointment with the DMV?
Huh? What?
You make a DMV appointment.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah,
Okay.
You're going.
How
to.
far in advance do they let you make appointments?
like the day of.
Okay.
Yeah, the DMV here is freaking awesome.
They are pretty fast.
They are
honestly.
very
Like,
fast. They're very efficient.
Yeah, you could get. Done. I just made a DMV appointment for like a month from now.
Now, why'd you do that?
So I just need. It's one of those things where I need to get my driver's license renewed before my birthday in February, and it was one of those things where it was like that's going to sneak up on me. Let me just bite the bullet here. So I made an appointment for like mid-January. Not mid-January. It's like the first week of January.
When you're gone?
No, like right when we get back.
Wow.
So for
not when we're
months
gone
now,
either.
I've been working on things on my truck to make sure that it is roadworthy. And finally having a good spot. No lights are on. No ABS light. No check engine light. Everything's good. Take it to get inspected yesterday. I was talking to Hunter about this. And
Hunter was not who you were talking to about
No,
this.
he was before he talked to you.
yeah, whenever you got off work
You gotta
early
remember,
yesterday.
Trevor, Konner and I worked an extra like
I'm
40
just
minutes
kidding.
to make up for you leaving a little early yesterday. So we had some time together.
That's not.
We
funny,
were in the
Joe.
trenches.
I will say some dark things if you continue down that road.
I was
That
making
is a fair
statement.
warning. That is a fair warning.
It's just been said. That actually is not a warning for Hunter. That's encouragement. But
I mean, who doesn't want to know what the dark things are that's gonna come out of his mouth?
you're just not gonna like it. Go ahead, Connor.
Okay, so so I take it to get it inspected yesterday because I had an appointment. They're out there for like 30 minutes, and it's up on the lift.
Ooh,
And they're
you
looking.
should as soon as
I
the
know,
person in
but
front of you had a lift, you
I
gotta
know.
leave.
But they were
His dad's trick.
but they were under that truck with a flashlight for a solid like 20 minutes just looking at stuff, and I was like, oh no, because I knew everything on this truck was technically functional, but I just thought they were going to look at all the joints and everything, and they see that truck sat for a solid 10 years before I put it back on the road, so I just knew they were all going to be bad. And I don't know why the safety inspection is that intense. It's stupid, but whatever. And so they're looking at there, and I was like, I'm screwed. I'm having a straight up panic attack in this like lobby. I don't know what the frick was happening to me. I've never been so stressed about anything in my life. I'm sitting there like my heart is pounding, and I was like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm gonna pass out on this floor because I'm sitting there looking through the window at my truck on the lift, and them looking under there, and I was like, I'm not. There's no way I'm passing. So a while goes by, and finally they come back out. and it doesn't pass inspection because the third tail light, so the tail light on the top of the crew cab, is broken. And first of all, I was like, "What? You guys were under there for so long." And the reason, and so it's a little bit of encouragement that they did that thorough. They did that thorough of a.
Oh, you just wait, brother.
They did that thorough of an inspection, and everything was fine except for a tail light. So I feel very confident in the truck now. However, I said, I know anytime I ask for a quote, I know I'm not going to do it because I have too much pride to let a mechanic do it. And I was like, they were like, okay, well we can get it done on Thursday, is whenever we can get the tail light by. And I was like, okay, like, do you have a quote for that? And she showed me $555.
Hang on.
What the freaking crap? This taillight is literally 2 Phillips head screws that you unscrew, take the taillight off, unplug one cable, and then take the new one, plug the cable back in, 2 Phillips head screws back in the truck. That's it. And they were going to charge... also, the taillight, $25 on Amazon.
I was literally driving to work getting mad about that situation this morning because I thought about it and I was like, they were really going to like that. They were really going to do that to you.
So did you order it?
So
pure evil.
I looked everywhere.
Like, what the heck, dude?
Obviously, everything on Amazon that you order now will not be here this week. It will be here next week. And so I looked on a bunch of websites, and no auto parts stores have it because it's a specific LED one. It's not bulbs; they're LED lights. So you have to get it from the dealership, or you can get an aftermarket one, but that's where you have to get it from, like Amazon or something. You can't just get it from an auto parts store. So I called the dealership. They said all their shipping's backed up, so it won't be here till next week. And I was like, well, frick. So then I started looking at pull apart lots in Charlotte. In Lynchburg, my bad. And there's one right down the road from my house. There's 2 Frontiers there of the same year. And I was like, boom, I can take one off there. Then I look on Facebook Marketplace, and this guy in Appomattox, 30 minutes away, happens to have the exact tail light for my exact truck, still in the box, brand new, $25.
So did you get it?
I messaged him. I'm going to pick it up after work.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to pick it up after work. I'm going to throw it on my truck in 5 minutes because it's all it's going to take. And I'm going to drive back to that shop and get it inspected again.
Nice.
I really hope that they don't find something else if when you take it back.
I mean, there's no way they're going to look harder than they looked yesterday. I'm telling you, I've never seen anyone look at anything so intensely.
No, they would do it despite you for sure because the tail.
No, she was really nice because I was really nice because it was very obvious.
Though, they're mean.
No, it was very obvious that I was frustrated. But I was like, but I was like, oh,
it's laughable.
Like, dang, it won't pass because of that third tail light. And they were like, yeah. Dang, that seems crazy. I was like, obviously I know it's not you guys' fault. That's just crazy to me.
I don't even know was like, anything about cars, and like I could have done that.
And she was just so.
There
nice.
must be something with it.
No.
Was it sound like it? But I wonder, like, were they having to pay more for?
Maybe they're having to pay more for shipping
to get it there by Thursday.
And they probably were getting the OEM part.
That's what I'm saying. They were definitely going through Nissan.
So, but it's still at the most, if you get it,
couldn't have paid more than
a couple
$100. Like even.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if it's like
it's probably $100.
They probably have a base service charge of like $100, $120. So I would imagine that tail light had to cost them $300.
No,
no way.
This is impossible.
Between shipping and getting it to them.
No,
$300, Hunter. It's a $25 part.
That's the aftermarket one.
For the aftermarket one, it's $25. For the other one, it's like $80.
$80, and they have to get it here in 2 days. And Konner said that the shipping's backed up till next week.
That's at least. It's still at least.
I'm just saying that
you're giving them way too much credit when you know what they're trying to do.
I respect people, so I think that they respect people. And I think that they was.
Well,
I think that they were.
Hunter, you cannot seriously be siding with mechanics.
I'm not going to side with them, but
they
I probably
obviously take advantage
of
people every day. Well, I know you would have, but I'm just saying, like, they take advantage of people all the time.
I just
I'm gonna pay $25.
They would have line itemed it, and I would have looked at it and been like, "So this really would have cost you?" And if they were like, "Yeah," I'd be like, "All right, well, what else am I going to do?" And
and
that's fine.
And that's why mechanics are in business.
Save $530.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, I like to think that, like, because obviously they wouldn't do it with an Amazon part.
Yeah,
they wouldn't get the aftermarket, so they would have to go through their Nissan. I just like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I would like to think
Hunter,
that it had to cost them a few $100.
I am a big fan of the benefit of the doubt. I love to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going off of facts here.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
they are a mechanic shop. They run off the fact of knowing that you can't do what they can do, and you don't know how to do it, and you don't know where to get the parts. Therefore, because of that, they're able to do an incredible markup. Which, if you know anything about cars, you can realize is ridiculously criminal. But that's fine. You pay for the convenience. If you don't know how to work on cars, you pay for the convenience for the mechanic to work on your car for you.
I mean, I'll say I never did anything with my car. And when I had to get new headlights, they quoted me something criminal, and I replaced my headlights for, I don't know, it was probably $100 or less.
The listing was like exactly $120.
Yeah, and I did it, and it probably took me an hour. And I was going to get charged, something in the range of $700 to $800.
I remember when we came in, you said that you had to get new headlights, and I was like, oh, you just order them off of Amazon.
So, like, it's just, like, I don't know anything about cars. It took me an hour's worth of labor, and the parts cost like $100 bucks.
I have complete respect for people who choose not to work on their cars and just pay for the convenience of a mechanic.
I usually do that, but they're like, if I heard that $500 for that little teeny tail light, I would be like, no.
That is one of the,
because it's just so small. You're looking right at it, and there's no deception there. Like if you're talking about like something internally in the car that's like a little deceptive, like it's something that's really. But when you're talking about a light, and I know how lights work, that's where you're not getting me. That's where I would draw the line. But I would say anything internal in the car, you could probably get me every time, because I'm not going to be willing to work on it, and I also would be scared to break my car.
I mean, I changed that.
Like, I can't break the tail light. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. I mean, I changed that crankshaft pulley, and that pulley itself cost $400. I will admit that was a little bit more of an intense job, but that part was $400 to me because I ordered it from the dealership. If I had gotten a mechanic to do that for me, I've been $2,000.
Yeah.
Because that was admittedly a good bit of labor, but that is, and I completely have 100% respect for people who choose to pay that is like a typical car person thing where like people assume that car people think that everybody else is dumb for taking their cars to mechanics. I do not. I understand the desire to take it to a mechanic and have them deal with it and then not have to think about it, and then your car is going to work just fine. I cannot do it whenever I know I can do it, because that's just how I grew up.
I wish I knew how to do it.
But I respect everyone who takes their car to a mechanic.
It's a skill I wish I had. I think you can do pretty much everything with the power of YouTube, but I know that you also know how cars work in way more depth than me. So like you would be able to troubleshoot. If I strayed at all, or if there was a problem and I had to troubleshoot, that's where I would get lost. If I was just following,
like
YouTube
whenever you
tutorial,
put the car back together and it just won't even try to start.
Right. See, that's right there is where I would basically put it in neutral and roll myself over with it.
Careful, dude, you're gonna get banned from Twitter.
Dang it, not again.
I feel like you should tell that story.
So it's over now. I'm back on the platform.
Not until you tell this, and they're gonna hear it and ban you again.
I got banned on Twitter for 12 hours. That's
so worth it just for the story.
Yeah, it was, because the next time probably won't be. It'll probably be more severe. But I got banned because I told Hunter to dig. I said, "Dig a hole and bury yourself in it, loser." And I get on Twitter yesterday.
That's hilarious.
Like, obviously, I mean, it wasn't really satirical, but it was satirical. Like, I was mad, but also I didn't mean it, you know?
You obviously didn't want him to dig a hole and bury himself in it.
But anyway, so I get on Twitter yesterday, and it's saying how my Twitter, I had a limited Twitter access. I wasn't banned, which is kind of sucks. I think it'd been funny. People went to my account and saw I was banned, but I just couldn't tweet or follow people or something. Like, I could still browse Twitter. And in order for me to start my 12-hour timer, I had to delete the tweet. Censored, man.
Dang,
absolutely censored by Twitter.
You got
this isn't the Elon's Twitter I was promised. I thought I was gonna be it's because it said I was promoting self-harm, which, like, in fairness,
you were.
I've done that twice now in the last 3 minutes with the whole truck thing. So
maybe you should take this as like a wake-up call. Like,
it was my wake-up call, man. I was, you get that little like flutter of embarrassment, like, man, I got banned from Twitter. I'm like, I'm that bad of a person. And then I was like, oh, wait, it was for a joke. Not the first time I've been burned by a joke on Twitter. Anyways.
What was the last joke?
Well, technically, it wasn't my tweet.
Was it my tweet?
Yeah. Long story.
Yeah. It is funny.
That is funny.
It's not funny.
It wasn't funny. In the moment, it wasn't funny.
It's very real.
On the back end, looking back at it now, very funny.
It's still not to me. Very fresh.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
If it's what I'm thinking of, it's what led to me creating my personal Twitter.
No, what?
I don't know. Then it's not the first joke.
What was that?
I'm not telling that story.
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
Somebody's got to tell a story.
I can't tell that story.
Dang.
I can't tell this story either.
Man.
Some show this is.
Yeah, some show this is. That's the banter. All right, everyone. Dude, Konner.
I'm
don't throw
sorry.
stuff,
I dropped
man.
a lens cap. That's my bad.
Raindrop. Drop top.
Christmas food. Go.
We already talked about that.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah, Konner.
It's
No,
tough
yeah,
when
you're-
frick
you're
off.
right.
it's tough when we're in the Christmas spirit, like in the end of November, because we've now been talking about Christmas for so long. And in fairness, this is the closest episode to Christmas, but it's like
But I feel like it's a banter thing for us not to talk about it on the closest one to it.
that would be kind of on brand, I guess.
That would be kind of our brand.
There's nothing
no
left
one
to
say
talk
the word.
about.
No one say.
That word.
Yeah, no one say
Okay.
that word. The rest of banter.
The
Yeah.
It's tough
Nah.
because that's the only thing like on my mind right now. I feel like
Are people gonna be sad?
Probably not.
Okay.
What else can we even talk about
It
though?
might
You know, like nothing else is even going
it
on.
might snow tomorrow.
Oh, it's supposed to snow Friday.
Wintry mix.
Wintry mix in
Yeah,
Lynchburg just means
I-
rain that every once in a while you get hit with something. You're like, that was a little harder than rain. It has a wintry mix.
Do you think
So
it's actually
true.
Hunter? Do you think it's actually gonna snow like
No.
Saturday?
Not enough to matter
Okay, good.
because it's gonna get to like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
So if it
Okay,
snows, it'll
okay.
snow in the morning.
It's
it might
so-
stick for an inch and then be gone.
Because I gotta drive to Charlotte.
because the temperatures are
You got a truck.
basically
That is true. Well, hopefully.
the temperatures.
So what are you gonna do
are
if
gonna
it
get so
doesn't
cold.
if you don't get the title and stuff?
They're
by,
saying
by
30%
Saturday?
chance of
I
snow on
have
Friday.
to-
I saw 50.
Then we have to drive Gabby's car and rent bikes on vacation. Because
So
of
it's
the
not
rain.
that big of a deal at the end of the day.
I mean,
Saturday
it's gonna
and
be like
Sunday are
$200 for
gonna
us to
be-
rent bikes for the week.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday,
You
and
factor
Tuesday.
your time renting the
Freaking.
bikes. $500 starting to sound good, huh?
What I'll say,
No, no, not at all.
what I'll say is, if there was
$25 and a 30-minute drive sounds good to me.
if there was ever a time for like the ponds around here to freeze to like skating ability, it would be Friday through Tuesday, because from Friday through Tuesday, it's going to get down Friday night to like 9 degrees. And then
Dang,
it's not
dude.
going to get back above freezing probably realistically until like Tuesday.
Saturday's
That's
gonna get to 6
crazy.
degrees.
And it's going to the
That's
the nightly
crazy.
temperatures are going to be really really cold.
No way.
So by the time you get to Tuesday, you might be able to skate on a pond around here.
I gotta
You might
turn
have
my
to
heat-
test that out.
I gotta
Test
turn my
it.
heat lamp
I don't
on
have
under my
any,
house.
Here's a story.
that
So
would
we were
be
in Charleston.
quite an experience.
We were in Charleston, and there was we took my niece ice skating. They turned one of the tennis court stadiums into an ice skating rink.
Cool.
But it was like the synthetic. It was called glice.
Yeah, it's basically like a really interesting plastic.
The like waxy stuff.
Yeah,
I still don't fully know because when
is
someone
synthetic
skated
ice.
up to me, then and
Yeah,
it sprayed
it's
water.
plastic shavings.
It wasn't.
What do you mean? It sprayed water?
Well, not like water, but like it was definitely ice that he sprayed up to me.
I'm telling you, it
Maybe
looks
it
very
still has a
realistic.
thin frozen layer on top. Maybe.
That would make sense.
Maybe that might have been what it is. Maybe they laid down the blocks and then they have a thin layer of ice.
That
on
would make
top.
sense.
That
It
might be
was
what
it
is.
was semi cold out.
You
so.
would. I mean, I would think that if it like synthetic ice is pretty unmistakable synthetic ice. I feel like it is kind of convincing when you're skating.
There
on
were
it.
blocks that you could see, but definitely looked like there was something over the blocks.
Okay, then it probably wasn't synthetic. I mean, you would know if you're gliding on synthetic ice because it's kind of like you're skating, but you push off and you just kind of like glide and then you stop real suddenly.
No, that didn't happen.
You know?
You could like push and just kind of like cruise for a little bit, but you could also walk if you wanted. Like you could just
See that? I don't know. I'd have to see where was it? I could probably Google it.
search glice, GLICE.
They had a name for it.
I didn't just come up with glice. I didn't invent it.
Glice.
That was their
got
company.
lice.
Ice rink. It's synthetic.
Okay, so glice. They put this stuff down, right? We're skating there. Skated a few times around with my niece. Leave. They had fire pits, made some marshmallow s'mores, whatever. Walk out. And there's a couple walking in. I mean, no, well, this one didn't have the like where they interlocked. It was just
Oh, didn't.
it was flat next to each other like this. It seemed like there was something on top, but I don't know what to tell you.
New York Times. With
I have no
stackable
idea.
plastic panels, a company called Glice wants to be a rink builder to a warming world. This is from 2020.
It was glice. I do know that.
They were gliding on polymer panels, essentially plastic. Yeah, no, it's it requires no cold weather, special blades, electricity, or water. Yeah, it's still slick, but it has a bit more give than real ice. It's less punishing if you fall hard. Yeah, it's plastic.
All right, so
It's
I didn't
just very-
ice skate. I plastic skated. You happy, Trevor? You've ruined my dreams.
I mean, it's easier to skate on as a beginner because, like I said,
None of that stuff matters. Because what happened is we were leaving, and there's a couple about my age, mine and my wife's age, walking in, holding hands, and the dude was bringing his own ice skates.
Yeah, I always
Heck
brought
yeah.
my own ice skates to like public skates.
We got to the car and I made fun of him hard. I was like, bro,
Now-
you're going in to like a ice skating thing made for kids. The rink is like, it's a tennis court.
Yeah, I mean,
It's tiny.
I wouldn't be
Yeah,
bringing my.
that's-
Let me
it's
be
tiny.
clear. I would not be bringing my skates to that. It'd be like if I went to a skate at Liberty
And-
at like a full size ice rink. Then I probably would.
And then everyone in there was like kids, and then the kids' parents was it.
But
I
I'll-
was like, so it was like me and Lila, and then everyone else was like 10 years old to maybe 13 was like the cap of kids, and then it was like 30-year-olds because it was their parents, and there was no in between.
Yeah,
That were the only people in there, and all the kids were using the thing you held on, and all the parents were helping them, and that was the ice skating that was there.
And then there's just one guy. Like,
And then this
carving it
one
up.
dude, no, he wasn't. I didn't get to skate with him.
Oh.
When I was leaving, it was just them two, like 25-year-old couple, and he had his ice skates over his shoulder, holding his
hockey bro.
girlfriend's hand.
Well, he
walking
didn't
in.
have to. He didn't have to rent skates.
You paid to rent time. The skates came with it, so he paid the exact same amount.
Punked. I mean, I will say, synthetic ice on a rink the size of a tennis court, that might be a little bit of a try hard move there. Unless you had those skates sitting in your car, or unless you didn't
Oh, he was in
realize,
Charleston.
unless you didn't realize what you were walking into.
That's
that is,
more likely what it was.
That's tough.
But yeah,
but-
it was like the size, like literally. I mean, it was tiny.
Synthetic ice absolutely it dulls a skate blade so fast. At least it used to back.
It was a
in the
good
day.
time.
Dang.
I haven't skated on it in a long time though, but I remember if you skate on ice and then you skate on that, it's definitely noticeable. But it is pretty impressive technology. They use it a lot at like hockey camps for in the summer. They'll have just like pads of it that you can like shoot off of outside or stick handle with. And
I've
'cause the
mainly
puck
seen them
works on it.
in like YouTube videos where guys are like making an ice skating rink through their house and they make a track like up the stairs and stuff like
Can't say I've
that.
ever seen that. You guys ever
It's
watched
freaking sick.
Crashed Ice? It's essentially like snowboard cross, but on ice skates they make the ice tracks. You ever watch
No,
that?
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, they literally, you've never seen that? Oh my gosh. So these guys who are like typically former hockey players, you would assume, are in full pads and they make these tracks that like,
Oh, I have seen this.
and so
Oh,
they're
it's
skating
awesome.
like down hills, going up ramps around these corners.
It's
There's-
like
there's
BMX,
boards.
but-
yeah, it's BMX
yeah.
and they're on skates
sick.
and they're going full speed. And
I've
sometimes,
seen that.
sometimes they end up in fights. Like it's freaking awesome.
Is
It's
there
freaking
a
sick.
hockey? Is there a situation you can put a former or current hockey player in that they won't try to fight someone?
Nope.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, how do you end up in a fight in that?
you cut somebody off or
That's
something.
what I'm saying.
Like,
Is like
It's
I
just a
feel
part-
like in motocross,
well, it's because
someone's not going to jump off their bike and try to throw hands.
It's because in hockey it's like part of the culture of the sport.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's
And
what I was saying.
They
If you
allow
take a
it.
hockey bro-
it's like in hockey if you fight. The reason that fighting happens in hockey is obviously it's a physical sport,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's because it's allowed.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm
like
saying is if you take someone that played hockey their whole life and you just put them in like a pickup basketball game, and
played
someone
hockey
lowers
for
their
a long
shoulder
time.
into them, like
No,
you're
they're not
telling me
gonna-
homeboy's not like
No, I don't think so. Because it's literally like a lot of times a fight happens in hockey. And like this happened at a game I was just at up in Hershey where the team is playing very sluggish. They're down 1-0. They need momentum from somewhere. So what happens? They have their enforcer. He decides to pick out a fight, beats the crap out of a guy. And then 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes later, we scored because we got momentum from winning that fight. You get the crowd a little bit loud. You pump up the stadium like that. Fighting is strategy.
I know I understand it
Yeah.
in hockey. I just think it's funny.
So I'm saying like these
That
guys
would-
aren't just like wrecking balls with like anger issues. They do it because it's allowed in the sport. It's
but
like-
when you
that's
pull it
like-
out to a racing
yeah,
and then they're fighting in that,
Okay,
that's
I
what I'm
don't-
saying. Is
I don't
like,
think it's-
do you just put these guys in
Let
like
me be
they're
clear.
they're competitive eating and Joey Chestnut throws down one too many hot dogs
Let me be
and
clear.
he just gets socked by Alex Ovechkin.
I've seen like one YouTube video of guys fighting in that sport, so it probably isn't a common occurrence.
I don't know if it wasn't that hard for you to find. The statistics would
Okay,
say it was
if you
a
look
common
up BMX
occurrence.
fight, I bet you'll find one too.
Well, probably one if I search BMX fight. But if I search BMX
I
race,
bet you'd find more than one.
but if I search BMX race, 99% of the time I'm not going to find a fight in it.
Well, I don't think I saw. I think I saw it like on TikTok. I didn't search for it.
Okay, well, see now we're going out a different way because like sure I can find Meta World Peace jumping into
I don't understand why I'm being targeted right now.
because I mean what else is the banter for? We gotta have like if I just accept your statement, then there's nothing to bant about
That is not a good way to live life.
for a podcast.
I don't know. I want to get along on the podcast.
Okay.
Konner, you talk about something. Get this guy off my shoulders.
Well, no, I'm just saying like that's what carries like for a podcast. We got to elongate a topic. I had to pick something to elongate it.
You hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry for that. I'll apologize off air.
No.
I take my apology that I just did on air back. So I can do it off air.
Connor, when are we going to clean out my car
I feel wildly uncomfortable.
sunroof?
When are y'all going to replace his brakes?
That's at this point. It's mainly just like let's see how long we can go.
Is it?
It's really a joke until I die.
Yeah.
There I go with the self-harm thing again.
But now, like, we can replace them. Not this week. Not next week.
See,
This is what happens every time.
And then the week after he's gone.
Yep. Trevor, we are going to replace you.
literally, I bought those brakes like beginning of summer.
Listen, I don't know if you know this, but every time we talk about it, I feel wildly like I just know it's my fault. Okay,
Yeah.
I just feel bad. I feel
They
bad.
probably like expired.
Every
they probably
time
went
the
bad.
brakes, that's not. I don't think that's true.
It's like yogurt.
Well, they're still in the packaging, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if air hasn't touched them, you're fine.
I never
Have you
opened
been
them.
refrigerating them?
See, no, I haven't. There you go.
You have to buy new brakes.
They're toast.
These are spoiled.
Imagine if for any reason I had to, and like for this whole time, like 60% of my refrigerator space is this
Brakes.
massive box of brakes. That would, oh my gosh. We should all have a challenge where we take an equally obnoxious item and take it home and convince our wives it has to stay refrigerated and see how long. I'm pretty sure I'm making it through like a day.
Oh, I could make it a long time. For sure.
Mine's not ever reaching our fridge.
Well, it depends on how I mean, if you could use any means possible to convince them, then like I guess I could probably make it a while. But
That's hilarious, though.
it would be I feel like the fridge is it was a tough one.
I think I could go a month.
If it was the freezer, I could go indefinitely.
Oh, freezer. Yeah, that's not
But
even,
the
that's not
fridge-
even a
We
challenge.
have less room in our freezer than we do in our fridge.
We have
Got a
not
whole
a lot of
bag
room
of
in
ice
our
in
freezer,
there.
but if you sit in the back of the freezer, like there is things in the freezer that have probably been there since we moved into the apartment. That's not true, but stuff just sits in there forever.
It wouldn't be embarrassing if it was true, Trevor. We wouldn't judge you.
Oh, it's not true. I'm
It's
just
the freezer. It
clearing
doesn't
facts.
go back.
But maybe things have been in there for 6 months. My Nana used to have a freezer. Well, she still has the freezer, but I think she's cleaned it out since. But she had like a fridge in her garage, and then she had a like chest freezer in her garage as well.
Okay.
And it was a pretty sizable freezer. I would say it was like close to the width of your desk, just like across one way. And that freezer like never got cleaned out. Like it was used like relatively often, but like only the top layer of it really got used. And so like nobody knows what was deep down in the depths in that freezer. It could be a body.
You'll never found out?
Well, it was cleaned out eventually. Like she cleaned out eventually, and it was probably just like really old.
But
meat
you just
and
like
stuff.
check the dates on stuff? That'd be fascinating to me.
I wasn't there when it was cleaned out. Yeah, I wasn't there. I think
That'd
like
been
this is
electric.
like I was like
Like pull something out and you're like, oh my word, it's
Yeah.
from 1985.
no, like who knows? Because like literally, it was a very deep freezer. It was like up to like my stomach in height, and yeah, like if you even tried to reach too far, and like you could not reach the bottom of it, and everything's obviously just kind of frozen together.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was a mystery,
That's hilarious.
absolute mystery. You can freeze stuff for so long.
Gotta get a meat freezer.
Yeah, dude. I'd honestly love to do that someday. Like have
Purchase parts of a cow.
right where people buy like the whole cow, and so they just have like all their meat for like a half
be
a
so
year or
sick.
whatever, where they just have it portioned into whatever they like. Here's all the burgers you got from this cow. Here's all the steaks, and then you just keep it in a meat freezer and use it. That would be really cool.
Hunter, guess what?
Hunter could do that with like a chicken freezer.
While you were shooting the whatever the frick it's called the other day, debate night, me and Trevor answered a very interesting question of why is it called a hamburger?
We did. Do you see if you know the answer? See if you can guess the answer.
Why is it called a hamburger?
Yeah.
because it's not ham.
No, it's obviously not ham.
So why do you think it's
I
called
feel like
hamburger?
I've Googled this before, but I don't remember.
I'm sure
the answer.
everybody's probably Googled this at some
It's
point.
it's
Whoa,
because
whoa, whoa! Are you gonna give me a chance to guess?
I just said, I mean, I don't.
Oh, you're not gonna
give me just a guess.
like any. Just make a random guess, and like I feel like your random guess could somehow align with the correct answer.
it's pretty obvious now that I know the answer. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean it's
Like it makes sense. I
It
feel like
makes
it's
a
the
lot of
only
sense.
option. It's like I feel like it's really the only option.
Well, I feel like hamburger was the original word of burger, right? Like, isn't that where burger comes from?
Yeah.
Like hamburger existed before the word burger.
Right.
Yes.
So you have to think of like
we know that. Yes.
So you'd have to think of like why did they call it something like why is it burger? So that makes me think it has something to do with the way it's made, which makes me think that it was with a hammer.
I love. See, that's
Wow,
why you
that's
get an
great
educated guess
reasoning.
out of people because that
That
was
is
incredible.
great reasoning. No,
It's actually a lot more straightforward.
It was just created in a town called Hamburg.
Hamburg, Germany.
So like Lynchburg, but Hamburg. So it could have been called the Lynchburger.
And it was literally invented because beef tartare already existed, which is like a raw beef dish, and they just decided, hey, let's cook it.
Yeah, beef tartare is basically small cubed pieces of beef, like they're like cubed up with some other ingredients in there. So they literally just like, that's how ground beef was invented. Was they had the cubed beef tartare, and somebody's like, let's just like try to cook this.
Yeah,
and
throw that thing on a pan, man.
They call it a hamburger.
I just want to eat a hamburger. Hunter, when are we getting you tested? Connor and I were just talking about this the other day. He was like,
I don't know.
He was saying how epic the last the Foundation Nation video would be of you like getting tested and like being able to eat a cheeseburger.
Because you know,
again.
so many channels
And I
have
told
like
him,
that one viral video that like nothing about the channel, but the video pops.
It'd be
off.
like Logan
That would be our
Paul.
video because you can do like guy has red meat for the first time in blank years.
it would be like
or,
Logan Paul putting on the colorblind sunglasses. Remember that back
yeah,
in the
it'd
day?
be
I
like
do
that.
remember
Or like guy cured from
I
alpha
told
gal.
Connor that you would never eat again.
Well, you have to eat red meat to confirm the diagnosis.
That's what I said you wouldn't do it.
But that's the only reason. Like, my life hasn't been affected bad enough that I want to go do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, honestly, I eat shockingly enough healthier now
Yeah.
than I did before.
it
Because
takes-
before,
it takes
all
certain
I
things out of
ate
your-
was
out of
like
your meal.
I would go to McDonald's multiple times a week. If I went
That's a
to
good life.
Wendy's, I was getting a double cheeseburger every time, Baconators.
Is there something? Let's put it this way: is there anything we could like do channel wise that like if it happened you would go and get tested again?
I mean, yeah, anything. Like, it's not getting tested isn't that big of a deal.
I want it to happen
I just like it's
because I think it would just add another
you have
layer.
to just
to
make
know.
you have to make a doctor's appointment, and like it's just inconvenient.
Right.
It's the only
So-
reason.
so we
I'm
need-
never gonna choose to do it, but like if
so
someone
like, how many likes do we have to get on this video for you to do it?
no, like that's already too lofty of a goal. Like if
That's
we were
too
just
lofty?
like if we were convinced like, hey, this will make a really good video, yeah, I'd do it.
Oh, there
Like
we
it's
go.
not
We're
it's not gonna
convinced.
take much convincing.
I'm
We're
convinced it'll make a really good
We'll make
video.
the appointment right now then on the banter.
I actually I'd have to call.
Yeah,
They're definitely not open. It's 8:20. They might be.
make the appointment then. Put your
Can I
money where your
call?
mouth is. Yeah,
Let's see if I can do it online. Well, so the tough part is
this is the best day of my life.
CV. I need to go to this place.
Schedule it for
Didn't you
like,
say something changed about it too, where like you don't have to get
Well,
use the
so-
same
don't do
doctor?
it for next week though. I want to be here.
So
No, do it for next week.
originally,
and then don't do it for the week after that because Trevor wants to be here.
No, I don't care.
Oh, well, I do.
what do I need help with today? Alpha gal.
I mean, this is gonna be amazing.
0 searches.
He's gonna be clean after all these years.
Dang man.
That first cheeseburger
Well,
back.
no, so the other flip side of this is the last time I got tested, what had happened was I got down to where my score was like 0.3. Basically non-existent. I could have eaten red meat and it probably just made me a little sick.
Yeah.
And so they said, come back and like your score is definitely going down. Come back in like 6 months. We'll test you again.
Yeah.
Most likely it'll be 0. We'll do the meat test, all that. Went back, my score jumped to like 4.5, which is like the highest it had ever been.
Interesting.
So
That's very
the other
interesting.
reason I avoid it is because I went from I was like being very free with it, like I eat now,
Yeah.
where I like wouldn't care about cross contamination that much. If it inconveniences me to tell someone to change their gloves, I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah.
So like that, like, and I don't get sick. I eat, I'm fine. I was living this exact lifestyle then. But then you go and you get the report from the doctor telling you your meat allergy is worse than it's ever been. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, crap, like how serious do I have to take this? So then it just changes your life the other way.
since
So
it
I think the way we're going to
fluctuates,
do this.
That's the risk.
The way we're going to do this though is you're going to get tested. If you come in at 0, you're eating a cheeseburger that day. But then we'll wait and get you tested again in 6 months.
Well, no, so
So at least that day you'll be good.
no, so like you come in at 0 and there's a chance of a false test. So they make you eat the cheeseburger, or
Yes.
you get to pick your red meat dish.
Oh, what are you picking?
Mine would be a cheeseburger.
What's your last meal?
From
Because
where?
like to be honest with you, none of it really sounds that good to me anymore.
Yeah,
Well, just because you
cheeseburger,
associate-
You take a bite of that and
but-
get
You've also
gangbang, and you're like,
associated
"Woo!"
it with being sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a steak. I don't think I'll ever eat a steak. Nothing about it is attractive to me.
Oh.
I never really liked steak that much before.
I understand that from like if you're like removed from that food group.
And it's been like
I've
4 or 5 years.
I understand a steak not seeming
Like it
appetizing.
doesn't like in order for a steak to be flavorful, it has to be not fully cooked through. And if the only thing I've eaten for years is chicken,
Yeah.
and if chicken's not fully cooked through,
It's bad.
it like turns your
Yeah.
stomach. So
Yeah.
looking at people eat steak rare, I'm like, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
I get that. That makes sense.
So like the only way I would eat a steak's well done, and at that point I'd rather just
it
have a burger.
doesn't taste good.
Yeah, I'd rather just have a burger because a burger well done, you can put enough ketchup and cheese and seasoning on it that you're fine.
I'm going to say a phrase here that is going to make me sound like a jerk, but if you eat your steaks well done, you don't like steak.
That's like
Yeah,
I
I agree.
ate my steaks well done, and I don't like steak. That's a true statement. I can't book an appointment. I don't know what's going on here.
My wife's
I searched my doctor's name and it said, "Did you mean Estes?"
my wife's
No.
grandma will go to a restaurant, like she loves like Texas Roadhouse, and she's like just this really funny Southern woman. You know, she was a Marine, just funny, and she'll go to Texas Roadhouse and order a steak, or anywhere that she orders a steak, and she'll say she doesn't want any pink, but she doesn't want to be dry either. Very funny every time. Every time watching it is hilarious.
That's hilarious. Well, it's got to be dry if you cook all the juice out there, lady.
I just imagine like getting those instructions at a chef and being like, what do I do? Like I'd almost
Yeah.
like inject it with A1 sauce at that point.
A1 sauce is good.
That's funny.
I love steak. I'm the type of person who I grew up. We didn't really cook, like we never really cooked steaks at my house growing up. I mean, it's expensive. Like we had a family of 5, so like if you're gonna make steak, we had like London broil a few times. We'd get like cheaper
Yeah, my
cuts
mom
of
used to
steak.
make London broil.
And I would have that and be like, this is incredible. But I never, because we didn't make steaks a lot, I knew I liked it, but I didn't order steak at restaurants, even
Okay.
like into an older age. And not for any particular reason, it just wasn't the thing that called my name on the menu. And then not even too many years ago, honestly, I feel like what started it is my father-in-law would grill a lot whenever I'd go over there, and I'd eat a lot more steak that way. And then I just started like, hey, I'm going to order a steak, sometimes. And now I understand how amazing it is. And like, I always knew, but now I really know. So like,
Yeah.
I definitely get steak a lot more now.
I definitely like my mom used to make steak. She would make a lot of London broil, but my mom and dad would make steaks growing up. They kind of tag team it, but like they would my mom would do like a crazy steak recipe, not like just like this is a good steak, but like we're gonna do it's marinated and crusted with like espresso powder and like all this stuff to like make like a crazy steak.
Yeah.
And they would do like a reverse sear thing, like where I guess not a reverse sear, but they would like sear it in the pan and then go in the oven and cook it in the oven.
I've done that.
But like I was always like, as a kid even, I was always super particular about how my steak was cooked. I never wanted it like overdone. And so my dad would, and like whenever he would cook them on the grill, I was probably a butthole as a kid. But like, no, I would try to be nice. But like, hey dad, would you make sure you take mine off a little bit earlier? But like, it was just like my sisters were super particular about like they didn't want any pink because my sister was terrified of it. So like we had to find like a happy medium, which just meant that I was never really happy with my steak.
I can sit between medium rare all the way to like the higher end of medium. I would prefer, if I'm gonna be closer to an end, I'd prefer to be closer to medium rare, because I agree, like if a steak gets cooked too much for me, it's just not that good. But yeah, my dad always says he likes, with his burgers, he'd always say he likes to still have a little moo in it after it's cooked.
That's funny.
Now burgers, I was always well done.
With burgers, I always do medium.
I do medium with
I don't,
burgers.
because a lot of people do medium rare with burgers, but you can't have ground beef be undercooked
Yeah, I do medium.
because it touched too many tools. So there's too many parasites that could be in it.
I just always go well done. I haven't had a burger in years.
Been years. Yeah, who knows? New Hunter,
20
man. This
it's
guy
been-
eats lettuce and tomato now.
5 years, because it was 2017. No, it was 2016.
Do you remember
It's been 6 years.
Do you remember the last cheeseburger you ate?
Yeah, it's what made me sick.
Dang, dude.
And where was it?
So I was at Myrtle Beach. We went to a seafood restaurant, and back then, because I ate red meat, I didn't eat fish at all. I also chicken.
I love fish.
Side note, like if there was
You were a
no
burger
burger or like that, if there was no cheeseburger on the menu, I'd order chicken tenders, but
Yeah.
nothing else was in my diet. Like that was it. And pizza, obviously, always been a pizza guy.
Dude, I'm pizza.
And so I got a cheeseburger and French fries at this seafood restaurant. Ate it. Got sick that night, very sick. Luckily my sister, what was she a doctor at that point? She might have been in residency. I don't know. She was far enough in med school that she knew like this was it was an allergic reaction and I wasn't just like having food poisoning or something. And B, that I could take way more Benadryl than I thought a human could take. So I took so much Benadryl. And she also got me ranitidine, so that's like your H1 and H2 blockers. I think they're basically your 2 histamine blockers. So one blocks your like acid and the other blocks your other histamine, whatever the frick that is. So I took both of those as soon as Heather saw what was going on. And then I just passed out on the bathroom floor because I had way more Benadryl in me than I've ever had in my life. And
This guy
Passed out as in
meds.
fell asleep.
yeah.
Okay.
I was just sitting there and I just like, and then I woke up in the bed the next morning feeling fine, just really drowsy. But apparently like my sister and my mom and Lizzie, who was also at the beach, like took shifts to make sure that I wasn't having trouble breathing all night. Because like the last thing before was like my tongue was starting to swell up. I had hives all over my body. I was throwing up, having diarrhea. And then the Benadryl knocked me out. And they were like, well, so my mom was like, let's take him to the ER. My dad was like, he's fine. It's probably, it's probably just like, he probably ate something weird. And my sister was like, no, like if it gets more serious, we'll take him, but he's okay now. We were like 2 minutes from the hospital. So my sister wasn't worried about getting me there in time. She was just heavily watching me. Because also, my brother wasn't there. And he was the only one in our family that had any allergies. So we didn't have an EpiPen. We didn't even have Benadryl. They ran to CVS to get it for me. So the next day, I was like, my brother had already had alpha-gal, so we knew it existed.
Okay.
So we knew red meat allergy existed. But I, like, even up to that day, I ate red meat very regularly.
Yeah.
Like, the day before, I ate red meat and didn't
It's crazy
get sick.
how it hits you like that.
And
how long before was the tick bite?
I still don't fully know. Because I don't remember ever
crazy.
getting bit by a tick. I had really bad chiggers when I was at the beach.
But
Like, right before.
it's so weird because it says on the internet, which I realized possibly is not true, that you can't get alpha-gal from chiggers.
You can. So
You can?
any like I forget what they're called, but hardback. I saw the dude at UVA is the leading #1 researcher in alpha-gal.
Oh, wow.
Since Jimmy had such a bad case, Jimmy went to him all the time.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got it, he wanted to study me because me and my brother both had it. So I went and talked to him, and he was asking me when was my tick bite, and I told him I don't remember ever getting bit by a Lone Star tick. And he's like, well, that doesn't exactly matter. What did you get bit by anything else? I said, I got in a nest of chiggers like 2 weeks before
Those are the worst.
my reaction. He goes, that was it then. And I was like, but it wasn't a Lone Star tick. He's like, that doesn't matter. He goes, even a certain type of ant can carry it.
Dang.
Because
Ruthless,
what was
bro.
wild enough was I was about to go to Australia when I met with him. And he was like, in Australia, it exists, but they don't have ticks. Or they don't have the certain type of tick. I was like, so how does it exist? And that's when he was like, the soldier ant or some type of ant carries it.
Wow.
So,
It'd be
wild
everywhere,
child.
man.
Anyways, but the next day so I ate that cheeseburger. I was at Myrtle Beach. The next week, I was leaving for Worlds in Kansas. So I couldn't get tested because I was about to leave to go on a road trip to Kansas for Worlds. And the next day, I was like, I didn't believe it was alpha-gal, which meant anything on 4 legs. So to test it, or no, back it up. Lunch that
Back it
day,
up.
I had pork barbecue.
Okay.
No reaction.
Yeah.
This is the day you went to the doctor?
No, this is the day I got sick.
So before you got sick, you had...
Lunchtime, pork barbecue.
Okay.
No reaction. Dinner time, cheeseburger, reaction.
Huh.
I'm allergic to both. Most people think it's just red meat. It's anything on 4 legs. So mammalian meat. So like even venison can't have.
Darn.
So I think it was because I had so much red meat, mammalian meat that day. That's what made my reaction so bad because I had pork and then a cheeseburger. But the next day we were about to leave the beach and I was convinced that I had a shellfish allergy because I never eat fish ever. Like at that point, like I couldn't tell you the last time I'd eaten fish. We would go to a seafood buffet and I would get pasta and chicken tenders. Like I did not eat fish. I hated it. So I was like, it's got to be a fish allergy because we went to a seafood restaurant and I ordered cheeseburger
This man was in
had to be
denial.
cross contamination. Well, I mean, because
Please help me fish. Please be fish.
Well, I ate so much red meat, and at that point, I didn't know it come from chiggers, so I was like, I didn't get a tick bite.
Right.
Like I was so particular because the tick also has to be on you a certain amount of time for it to.
Yeah.
And so I was playing a lot of disc golf, obviously at the time, and I was every disc golf round, get home, immediate search because I was not messing with anything tick related. Couldn't do it. I did not want to get red because I always told my mom if I got alpha gal, I was just going to eat a cheeseburger and die. That it wasn't worth it for me. I was dead serious when I told her that before.
Changed. Dang.
And so, we drove back the next morning, and my dad on the way home was convinced alongside me that it wasn't a red meat allergy. We were like, "There's no way." And again, not red meat, but the four-leg animal, mammalian meat. And so on the way back, we were like, "Let's test it." I was like, "I'm willing to test it." And so we went to McDonald's, and I got a sausage, egg and cheese, sausage, egg and cheese McGriddle. Because apparently
Delicious.
sausage is one of the higher, at the time, that's what they told me, higher concentrate of alpha gal. So like that was something
This
Jimmy
man was
avoided
just
hard.
going for it.
So I was like, screw it. I'll eat that, and I'll prove to my mom that I'm not allergic. And so I ate it, and then I went home, and I sat on the couch, and we just watched the clock, and I just watched some TV, and my throat itched, and I got a really bad headache. And I don't think my mom wanted me to take Benadryl. I don't think I did because I think I was trying to prove to her I'm not allergic. I had a little bit of trouble breathing, but it never got to where I was panicking. It just like I could tell like, okay, I'm my breathing's a little more labored. My throat itches. Never broke out in hives. I had basically a migraine, but that was it. And so I was convinced the migraine I was dehydrated. And I told my mom the throat itch is just my mind playing tricks on me. Like I'm fine. Then we told my sister. My sister's like, no, like a headache can be another thing of allergic reaction. You probably did. So then I was leaving for Kansas the next day. My mom and I are in an argument because I'm like, I'm not allergic to red meat.
How old are you at this point?
18.
18.
Okay.
19.
18 or 19.
Okay.
I either just turned 19 or was still 18.
Okay.
And so I told my mom basically, I'm like, this is pointless. I'm not allergic to red meat. I just ate a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin and like, or McGriddle, I'm fine. And she was like, well, just for me, in Kansas, just only eat chicken. Just so when you get back, you can get tested. She's like, I don't care who's right, who's wrong. Since you're going to be far away from me, please, for me, just eat chicken while you're gone. And I was like, Mom, that is so stupid. Like, we're going to be in Kansas. I want to eat. And she's like, Hunter, please, just eat chicken while you're gone. That way I don't have to worry about you. I was like, all right, you know what, Mom? That's fair. Fine. I'll just eat chicken. So I only ate chicken the whole time I was in Kansas. It was completely fine. Never even had a second thought worrying about anything. Got back, got tested the first day. Allergic to red meat.
Wow.
My mom was right.
Dang.
Moms are always right, and that is the moral of this
no
Bogey
better.
And the
Banter.
reason, so there's two different numbers. There's your alpha gal score, right? Which is like how allergic you are to the red meat. And then there's the IgE, which from what I understand, essentially IgE, every human has that, right? That's just your like, essentially in the connotation of allergies, how high that number is kind of like determines how severe your reaction is. So I had a semi-severe red meat allergy or mammalian meat allergy, but I had a really low IgE. Like I think a normal human's like 35. I think I was like 40. For perspective, my alpha gal allergy I think was like 3.5 to 4. The highest range I think it got to like 9. So I was pretty middle of the road. I was very allergic to it.
Yeah.
A normal human's 0.0, obviously. My brother was 7 on the alpha gal scale, so slightly more allergic, but his IgE was like 250. So that was the biggest difference between me and him.
Okay.
Was he like, then it was also partially because he has an autoimmune disease that we didn't know at the time, to where like for him, stress can send him into full anaphylaxis. Now it's under control, but back then that's what was like making me so terrified is like, we didn't know he had that going on. So there were situations where he didn't was not in contact with red meat at all. He was only eating at home. He wasn't even no red meat was even in our house. Like there was no chance he ate red meat and he would go into full anaphylaxis, like EpiPen hospital. And so we were convinced at that time, because we didn't know he had this other thing going on, that when I got it, my understanding of it was like, only thing that made sense was he must have like shook hands with someone that ate a cheeseburger and then he ate. Like that was the only thing that made sense.
Right.
Was like he used a doorknob to someone. So I was like, this thing is terrible. Like, how do you go somewhere and not come in contact with someone who ate red meat? Not at all what it is. You actually have to digest the red meat for it to. It's not like a peanut allergy. Nearly the same. Like that's why it takes so long for you to react after. Like it's like a 3 to 6 hour window after you eat before you'll react, because your body has to start trying to process the alpha gal protein, and that's what you can't process. That's what makes you react. Didn't know any of that at the time. And so I was just freaking out. That's why I got so skinny, because I was scared to eat everything. I just like, I don't even know what I ate. I think I just ate peanut butter and jellies, and I would eat like maybe 1 or maybe 2 a day because I was terrified. And so I like became skin and bones because I just wasn't eating. I wasn't even hungry to eat because my body just associated eating with like, I think I might die if I eat.
Basically an eating disorder.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But what I didn't realize is the IgE score was what was so important. So since my brother's was so high, mine was so low. That's why at the beach and when I ate the sausage McGriddle, because my IgE is so basically like a normal range, it just makes me sick. Like, I'm not going to say I couldn't die from it, but I feel like I would have died if I could have.
Right.
Because I was very stubborn that I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't going to the hospital or anything.
Yeah.
So I think that's why like my reaction's different. But also, I'm allergic to bees somehow now. I don't think that's from it. My sister said you can just develop bee allergies later in life. Like that's a semi-common thing. But that reaction when I got stung by a bee, I just broke out in hives all over. Nothing else happened. But I just like, once I had hives all over and knew I'd been stung by a bee, I just went to the urgent care and just explained to them. And then they just like basically gave me an IV of Benadryl. And they were like, if it gets worse, we're going to take you to the hospital. And it never got worse. I was just there for like 2 hours and went home.
Allergies be crazy.
But
I literally like allergies. People don't realize like how severe they can be. Like your allergies are, I mean, it's a life altering thing, but like obviously like you can still live with it.
No, it could be much worse.
We have like a family friend who there is this couple. They have a son and a daughter, and the daughter, as she got older, developed these allergies from this rare genetic condition that she had, just something in her genetics, to where her allergies are so bad that she cannot stay in their house. They had to buy like a trailer and like completely detox this trailer for a stand, and she can eat like 3 foods. And like has to eat the same thing and drink like the same smoothie every day.
Crazy.
Like literally cannot go anywhere, see anyone do it. It is like insane. Like allergies can be like nuts.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, it is.
That's so crazy.
There is
it's absurd.
This local dude bought a house downtown. I forget how we know his family, but they bought a house downtown and they were renovating the house. But it's like in a historic district where it's very limited what you can do.
Right.
So there were very certain things they couldn't touch in the house because you had to keep the historic preservation thing. My mother-in-law has a house very similarly to where like she can't even change her doorknobs.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Makes
because
sense.
it has to fit the look of the time period or whatever. Which is wild to me that, I mean, it's because you sign contract stuff when you buy the house, but it's just wild to me that you can own a house and own the property and like people can still tell you like you can't touch X, Y, or Z. Wild stuff. But that's the type of house they were in, and they were doing as much renovation as they could. And they all were just getting sick, like super sick. And they didn't know what was going on. They were taking the parents were like sick and it wouldn't go away. It was just like a bad cold that wouldn't go away for like several weeks. But their kid was like having to be like, go to the hospital and be like hospitalized. But once the kid was in the hospital, turned a corner, started doing so good, whatever, just got sent home, sick again. And they're like, what is going on? So they finally, I forget how they figured it out. I think they got a permit or something to be able to tear down one of the walls they wanted to tear down. Knock the panel down, mold everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
And so it was just, the mold was just making them sick. So I forget how, I think they actually just, I don't know if they moved or if they were able to like, because of that, they had to pay a ton of money to get it all fixed, I think is what they ended up doing. But got it all fixed and they went and stayed at a hotel while it was getting fixed. In the hotel, everyone just immediately started feeling better after like literally 2 or 3 days of being away from it.
Yeah.
And so then everyone like was feeling great and they went back in the house and it's all good to go.
Dang,
it was just mold behind their wall. They're just like, it was an old house, so you can anticipate, but
Yeah.
there was no way to know the severity of it.
Nothing like some good old mold.
And there's also no way to know that it was going to make you that sick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what we thought was going to happen to you guys in that little side room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their warehouse.
That was mold. There's no shot. It wasn't.
No, dude. What did they say? They tested, dude.
We moved into the warehouse, right? And the warehouse had this little side room with window that was like their server room.
And it wasn't being used for anything.
But it wasn't. It was a completely
servers were
empty
in there.
room with just like one little corner had their server. So they were like, if you don't touch that, you're free to use this as like an office, whatever you want. So Konner and I were like, this will be our office.
Sweet.
You know, that way we're removed from the warehouse. There's no distractions.
Smelled like a basement in there.
But the air vents had just like obvious mold.
Black.
Yeah.
And it was
it
black.
was black, and it looked
Coming
like
from
some
the air
kind of
vents
mold.
and
Yeah.
then spreading
on
on
the
the
ceiling.
ceiling panels.
It was
Very-
clearly, it's fair to say it was very clearly a growth of some sort,
Yes.
and it was a dark color.
And so I was like, we walk in there and we cleaned up the floor and everything as much as we could.
You're like, we're
and like
done.
we looked at the room, I was like, we can't be in here. Like that is
Yeah.
like just standing in here. If that's actually black mold, we need masks on. Like we can't be in
Yeah.
here. So I called the guy who like worked with the servers at this place. He comes in, takes a paper towel to it, wipes it, goes, it's dirt. I was like, no, it's just you wipe the metal part where mold probably can't really get its roots in, and it just wiped off. So you say it's dirt. I was like, no. I was like, well, are y'all okay if we pay to get it tested? I was like, we'll get the AC company to come out, test it, and if it's mold, y'all fix it. If it's not mold, fine. Like, is that a fair? Yeah, absolutely, sure. Pay these people, they come out, they tested it, not mold. I don't trust them, but not mold.
I mean, you gotta think the people in charge of getting rid of the mold.
Saying, we'd be sitting in there, and I would be like,
they would definitely tell you if it was mold. They want to charge you.
and I just like it had to have been mental tricks. Well, it probably wasn't. There's
It's
also
probably dirt just being
extreme amount
blown.
of dust
Yeah.
in that room as well.
But Konner and I, like, we worked in there for
Yeah, it's
6
fine.
months,
And we're fine.
or more.
Brad's in there now. Nobody's sick.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, it was
I kept
definitely
on being like,
pretty,
well, we'll just go back
sketchy
in the
looking.
mold room. And her be like, it's not mold. We know it's not mold. And I'd be like, whatever, Hunter. It's so funny to hear this side of you now.
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, well, like
He was just being a team player, man.
Technically,
I had all of the documents to prove it wasn't mold.
I met the requirements.
I met the requirements, but I wasn't chosen. No, like everything says it wasn't mold.
That's that
It's
mold
just like
trying to make it through the mold test. He met the requirements.
it was just
he
like
wasn't chosen.
what like when they told me it wasn't mold, I was just like, you tested everything? They're like, yeah. It's like, there's no
Like,
way.
then what is it, bro?
They're like, just dirt, man. I'm like,
What
dirt
other black
doesn't look
substance
like
grows?
that.
Like, you're capping.
Only thing I will say is it wasn't fuzzy.
It was
say
not
that.
fuzzy.
It
it
wasn't
did look
fuzzy.
like dirt.
It's weird
It
because
probably
the way
was
it's
just
I
dust.
think
it's
what
just
it
weird
was
that it
circulating.
spread like that.
I think it was because the air vents, the way they were angled, it was just
Yeah.
spraying dirt out.
I think
Yeah.
you're probably right. It just
but
didn't
it
look good.
looked very unsettling. I might have a picture.
I was on.
I'm gonna try to find
The
a picture.
floors were bad too. I scrubbed those floors.
Well, I mean, no one used that room for years.
Yeah.
I think that was the other problem is when we first moved in, they told us like, oh, we'll just change the air vent. And the air vents clearly hadn't been changed in. Like those poor AC system in that room.
yeah,
Well, that AC
That
system
reminds me, I need
went
to change
through
the air
a
vent
lot.
here.
Went through a lot before.
there's
it
a
got
lot of
going.
dust in here too.
We had to fix it so many times.
That's what the problem whenever you have a very cluttered space, like you just have so much stuff, is that like it increases the amount of dust in there and then it all just circulates because that's the way this works is the air just circulates.
Well, this room was just like before there was any stuff in here, it was dusty because
Yeah.
we were like, hey, how much money will it save us if we don't finish it? And it was a lot of money. So we're like, "Pfft, we ain't finishing this room.
I mean, we're just
So we didn't finish it,
we
and so
were-
like when the construction moved out, dust just stayed, like dirt
Yeah.
and stuff, because like it was unfinished.
We just
they
didn't
put
have-
the drywall up, and
we just didn't have floor and a trim. It's no big deal.
well, also the drywall. Well, they painted it white.
Yeah, they painted the drywall. They just didn't have floor and a trim.
Yeah, but the floor is what would have made the difference.
Yes.
yeah.
Because like when we moved in, before we ever
Most
even put a
definitely.
shelf up, there was dirt everywhere.
It seems almost
it's
impossible
better
to
that we-
keep this
it's-
floor from being dusty.
It's better that we don't have a finished floor though. We would have ruined it.
Well, when the warehouse was here, we would have, yeah.
We would have ruined it now. We just put toothpaste all over the floor.
Over there, sure. But if we
Yeah.
had a floor, we'd put something down before you. It
I was
allows us
hammering
to be a
scissors
little,
into the floor.
It allows
yesterday.
us to be a little more wild. With
I
the
like
floor.
that
Yeah.
we're able to be careless with the floor.
Yeah.
But you do have to admit, it would be nice to come in here and
I
it
would
all
just
be
like to
finished out.
know how, like, what people think that our office space looks like.
I don't. I get very uncomfortable every time someone comes in the
Well,
store and like someone opens the back door, and be like,
uh-huh.
"Oh, this is
okay,
where they work."
but
And I'm
the
like,
problem
You
is
see this massive closet with a bunch of crap in it? This is no
problem, the problem is at the end of the day, and like we all know this, if you spread out, what's happening in here is we have literally like
No,
essentially
there's no way for it to look good.
We have 3 sets, like a fulfillment area back there and a desk clump. Like if this was spread out, if you just had our desk clump in a room and not the sets or anything else, obviously it would look 1,000 times cleaner. Or if you just had the sets in a room.
Well, I think that there's enough space for what's happening in here.
It's just because everything, like there's so many things that have to happen in and out of this room that like it's very hard for it to stay organized.
Very hard. Yes.
And it's very hard for it not to look cluttered even when it is clean.
No, I think that there's a way that it could, but it's not worth it. I'm not saying we're going to do it.
The way that it could would be where that was somebody's main priority.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
we
like,
just don't have that ability.
Well, the other thing is we're 4 dudes that none of us by nature are organized. Mm-hmm. Like we're organized with certain things.
Yes.
But when it comes to things, none of us are organized.
I also
like
am
it's
not a
not
person
like
who has to function in that environment.
That's what I'm saying. Like I function best out of chaos.
Yeah, I thrive.
Like I like knowing that my notebook's under that towel under the screwdriver on my desk. Like if you move that notebook, I'm gonna freak out.
That's funny. I like my desk to be clean. Like my desk is not clean right now, but I like it whenever my desk is neat because I like the aesthetic of it. But the fact that there's crap on the floor all around me and that this whole place looks like a tornado came through here doesn't even bother me a little bit.
The only thing that bothers me is like I said,
only when people come over.
When someone like opens the door and like shows back there, because the problem is it's never it's never a warning shot.
No.
Like sometimes people will be coming to me.
You just gotta
here.
tell them to look at the grip block set. Look at the grip block set. Look at it. Look at it.
Sometimes
the grip lock set does look nice.
Yeah.
People will be coming to like have a meeting here, and I'll clean everything up.
Yeah,
and, like, it'll look great.
Or like whenever the in-laws are in town.
If we build out a 3rd set.
Yeah, then we're gonna put up a fake wall right there.
Then we'll have like 3 corners of not quite chaos, and then
the debate night set's still chaos.
Yeah, well,
Silas,
somebody's job to finish that.
I told Silas
and in between. There's just a straight up.
Told
desk
Silas
in
to finish
between.
that set, and he basically finished the
Silas
LEDs,
finished the lights,
and then
I'm gonna get on him next week. When he's back in Thursday. I'm like, Side Guy, that debate night set needs to be finished.
You just got
before
just
January 1st.
Literally finishing the paint, which would take you 15 minutes, would do so much for that set. Just like putting it to the ceiling, so it's not that awkward. Like that would do a lot. Just tape it.
But hey,
paint it.
on the show, it looks fine.
It gets the job done.
You only
our space. You
only see like a solid square foot of
gold is still above this black wall.
Yeah.
Our spaces are all very functional. Functional space. As a guy who lives in an apartment, I understand that like it's very similar to this space where like things have to just be efficient and they have to be practical, and everything about this space is practical. It all gets done. It might not look the prettiest, but it all gets done.
Well, the other problem too is like if that stack of discs isn't on my desk where it's allowed to just live and thrive, it has to be at my house.
Why isn't it? You have room
where
in
it's
your house,
not
though.
allowed to live and thrive.
That is very true.
Yes, it is.
It can live and thrive in the basement.
Yeah, you have a basement.
I can just throw it in the basement.
You don't even. You have
but
a
I'm saying
basement.
like if I walk in through my door, what I would do is I'd walk in, I'd want to see Luca, so I put stuff on the kitchen counter, and then I walk. The house I grew up in, you have to remember too, my dad had a corner of the counter that was dedicated that my mom was like, whatever you put there, you can leave.
That's nice.
So my dad had,
I love that.
That was his, when he'd walk in, his mail would go there. He would sort his mail. He had his list of like people playing basketball. It's still there, like to this day. You walk in and there's just like, unless if company's coming over, my mom would put it in a box. And then as soon as company left, pull the box out, lay stuff back out. So he had this little corner of the
well-run machine right
the
there.
thing to where like my mom's like, I don't care what you do right there. I'll clean everything else. So that's what I grew up seeing was, you walk in, you put the mail on the counter, you can open it, sort it, you leave it, it's going to be there the next day.
No, it's gone.
Liz, that don't fly, which is completely fair. What Liz does is the normal way to function. I just didn't grow up in a normal way to function. So I'll come in, I'll open bills, whatever. Something happens where I can't pay them right now, leave them, go, come back the next day, bills are gone.
They're gone.
And I'm like, Liz, if you don't leave that out, like I will not pay that bill. Like if that bill gets put, even if like we had this thing hanging that was like for mail. I was like, you put it there, gone, out of sight, out of mind. I'm never paying it. And so there were times where like I got a mail notice once from our water company that was like delinquency status. I was like, what the frick's this? It's like water bill's like $40 a month. I pay it every month. And I opened it. And it's like, you haven't paid in 3 months. You know, if you don't pay for another month or two, we're going to turn the water off. I was like, Liz, what is this? Like, do you know something? She's like, no. I was like, I've paid the water bill. I'm like, all right, well, it came with the water bill. I was like, I'll just pay this one right now. Went on, hadn't paid for 3 months. I'm like, where are these water bills? Liz's like, well, have you checked the mailbox? I'm like, the outside one? She's like, no, the box that I hung on the wall. I put all the mail in. I was like, no, I haven't checked that. Went in there. There's like 3 months of electric bills, 3 months of our water bill.
man.
Everything's just in there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, luckily, my credit card bills notify my phone.
Yeah.
So I pay those.
Yeah.
But like the water bill, our internet,
I have
all of
paperless
that.
on everything.
I hate paperless.
Why? Exactly?
Because I'm scared it's going to go through my, like, paper. If it goes into my mailbox, I'm going to see it. Minus the mailbox wall situation.
Yeah.
Email, way too many emails go without me ever noticing.
That's fair.
So if I have like an important bill, like there is a chance that my water would get turned off is how I figured out that I hadn't paid my water bill.
I check my email enough, but if you get too many emails,
Well, like,
I like having paper things.
Between the two mail apps on my phone, I have 12,000 unread emails.
Yeah, I have 0 unread emails at all times.
That's just like, I look at it and like, how am I supposed to get through that?
I will say my email started doing this. I probably just need to like reset my phone or something, but it started doing this thing where it stopped showing me the red bubble thing. And usually so like right now I have 23 unread emails, and for me that's like unheard of. Like usually it's like every time it gets to 10, I'm going to open it up and look at it. Like I'm stressing out right now.
Well, that's the other problem is
right now
I've had some of these emails for so long that I get like one of my emails. I was like, I got in a mood where I was like, I'm gonna be caught up on my emails. So I decided 12,000 emails, right? I'm not reading all of them. So I went back a month, right? I read back a month, made sure there was nothing important in that. And I was like, anything that I haven't seen for a month and I haven't felt the repercussions of can't be that important. So I just mass read everything back from there.
That's trouble.
Right? I then discovered that my email that I've had since I was a freshman in college, that like the Liberty email, that email, the foundation email, and then my main Gmail, that all three of those I've had for years.
Yeah.
Between them, I probably get 300 emails a day.
See, and
I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do?
I've just been like
how do I sort that?
I've been very intentional about like every few months, and I'm due for one. I go through, and if I notice an email popping up daily, unsubscribe. And if you take like 30 minutes to do that every 3 months, you'll change your life.
Or just make an email that you don't use for anything, right?
Yeah.
But business.
I have one.
And then I check that on my computer.
I have one of those.
Everything else is on my phone. So like if I need to go in here and like American Airlines, I needed to find my rewards program. It doesn't matter. I haven't read the rewards emails. I just search my emails. I'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, searching for emails too.
So
is a thing.
why on earth would I read them? Because it doesn't bother me that I have 8,746 unread there and 3,919 just one came through there. That doesn't bother me.
Fair enough. I'm the type of person with notification bubbles like that. Once they get to a certain point, that's when it no longer bothers me. It's when I've been keeping up with it. Because like
it used to
my
bother
like
me.
Discord and Facebook ones are always through the roof. But I used to clear them all at all times. But like if my email got to a certain point, I'm sure I would probably just let it go.
Well, so I used to keep my phone Redbubble free, nothing.
Yeah.
But then we had that issue with Shopify, where there were 100 orders. It still exists.
Yeah.
Where there's 100 orders that just refuse to go away.
Yeah.
Where like they've been fulfilled, everything about them should be closed, but it refuses to go away. So like right now, for instance, Foundation, all the orders are caught up. All the orders have been fulfilled for today, and that's the only one on here. 136 notifications.
That's annoying.
I can't get rid of them.
Brutal.
Once that happened, then I didn't care anymore.
There is a way to get rid of it. You have to use like one of the shortcut things, because Kenzie has all the shortcuts.
Yeah, I have all the shortcuts.
She has all the shortcuts on hers, but it's frustrating because.
But then, I see any notifications.
No, so
see, like I want to see.
She won't answer my Snapchat
to
for like 24 hours because she doesn't see. So if she doesn't answer it right away, she won't see the red
pops up
bubble
on your screen.
Yeah, but if she'll ignore that, and
I just like a couple times a day.
A
couple times a day, I just swipe down and just look at my notifications.
But see, like if I swipe down and then like just scroll up, like
yeah,
I'm not going through that. That's just back to yesterday. This is my notifications from yesterday.
My notifications get intense.
Like what the frick am I? You're expecting me to go and like all of them are layered. Like
this is really gonna drive people crazy. The bubble on my text messages, 134. On my text
see
messages.
that's
just being a bad friend.
That's inexcusable.
And then right here,
being a bad
let's
friend.
look. My email. So my Gmail app itself isn't too bad. That one's at
I pride myself.
9,411.
Oh my gosh.
But my mail app with my 3 emails, 39,846 unread emails.
Disgusting. You need to clean up your life. How do you?
Why?
sleep
I
at
don't.
night?
I find.
I pride myself on being like
now
one of
the text
fastest
messages.
text
The text
answers of all
messages
time.
are because I have had an extremely busy, packed last few weeks, and if it's not one of the priorities I need to get done that day, I just cannot think about it. And so whenever I've just been getting texts about stuff, I just I can't think about it.
So if you have a slow week, you're at 0 text messages? Be honest.
Yeah, that's how it wasn't until the past 3 months that the text message started stacking up. I'm not usually a person with a bunch of unread text messages because I read them and then I don't respond. But lately, I
That's
just
way worse.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bad person, just to be clear. I'm very bad at texting. All of my friends know I'm very, very bad at texting. My wife knows I'm very, very bad at texting. I always was like that when we dated. I have a hard time with trying to deal with something that's not I just can't deal with it right now. That's just how I am. I'm very much a person that's like, if it's not, I need to do it right now, I need to push it off and not think about it. But a lot of these are group messages. And then some of them are
group
like
messages are brutal. Another thing I do quite often.
I'm scrolling through my text right now, and there are a lot of these text messages that I need to reply back to.
Another thing
people that need things.
Something I do quite often too.
Well, they don't need anything anymore.
I scroll through my
needed things 2 weeks ago.
conversations a lot. I scroll through my conversations and delete ones that are not needed.
I don't delete
because it
anything.
clears space on your phone.
I refuse to delete because there's gonna be a day I need it.
I only let me be clear. The only ones I delete are ones that are like
The wildest thing.
literally group messages that were created for like 3 texts.
The wildest thing.
I don't get rid
that
of a lot.
I've never met a person that does this other than this man, and y'all know who this man is. Silas Isaacson.
Well, now we
the
definitely
one
know.
and the
You
only.
said it.
deletes every email he gets.
deletes every email he gets.
So bad.
He doesn't. He
So
doesn't.
bad.
He does. Like he gets it. He reads it. Deletes it.
Wow.
Period.
The dumbest thing ever.
And so like a while. This has been like a month ago. I said something
like
and he's
taking
like, "Oh, I need that." I was like, "Oh, I emailed it to you like a few weeks ago." He's like, "I don't have it." And I'm like, "I emailed it to you. Like you have it." He's like, "No, I delete my emails."
Legitimately,
Silas, like I emailed you something important. You got to have that forever.
I've never
Yeah.
deleted an email.
legitimately, I took like in my practicum class in college where they go over like professionalism, interviews, like that kind of thing. They talk about emails, and one thing they tell you literally in that class is you should always have your last 3 years of emails.
Well, yeah, you can't delete it because
if you're gonna want to delete after 3 years, but you're gonna want your 3 years.
Well, because also for
And it's not like it's being stored on your phone.
well, also like foundation business wise, right? Like a lot of emails and stuff get sent to me. I try to print most out, but a lot of times if someone falls through the crack or
you
something,
gotta have those receipts, man.
like if we got audited, I like the fact that I could just go on and be like, okay, what did I purchase this day?
Like, how else am I gonna
Boom,
be able to
found it.
find
Right here?
How else am I gonna be able to find my email that I sent to Innova when I was like 15 to try and get sponsored? Like,
Well, also American Airlines. I just needed my loyalty.
It's like way
I
too
just needed
funny.
my loyalty
Like-
thing. I don't know how to sign in. I don't even know what email I use to sign in. I just search my mail app. Boom, loyalty number found.
I search my email quite a bit.
Yeah, searching my email is like it's
look
incredible.
I got this from 2013. This is Innova responding to me when I tried to get sponsored, and they literally told me I had to be at least 1,000 rated. And you can see the screenshot because I sent it from my Samsung Galaxy Tab.
That's so funny.
And I have that, and I'll always have that.
See, if you were Silas, gone.
Gone. Silas, gone. That's banter.
That's the banter. I don't know. It's got to be close to an
It's
hour.
been over an hour.
It's been way over an hour.
See, this is what happens.
No,
man.
when I said we don't have our timestamp, I looked at the clock. It was 7:40 or 8:40. 7:45. So it's been an hour and 16 minutes.
What are y'all still doing here? All right, make a noise. Any noise?
You guys see if you can guess.
No.
You see if you
Okay,
can
but
guess
guess
what
the
noise
noise.
this
I like
is.
it.
Okay.
I like it.
I'll do it with no headphones. Hard mode.
Oh, what the heck? Oh no! I don't have my password. What is that?
You trying to type your password in?
No, that's Silas trying to find the email that tells him what his password was for something.
Ah, nice. Okay, I got one. Oh no, I don't yet. Hold up, give me a second.
Oh my god! Is this really what I wanted? That's
No.
gotta be my favorite sound clip I've ever heard.
Okay, I've got one.
Nobody knows what that is.
You painting?
Close. Silas finishing the debate night set. Trevor, you do one.
Okay. Dude, what the heck? I know more about Da Vinci than you.
Silas, when you breathe wrong.
Yes.
We'll see you in the next one.